Good evening. Okay, I'm gonna try and make a little bit more sense in this video. Calm down. Let the caffeine settle. So I was gonna talk about the rape aspect and what it made me think about, because I love the movie and I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I'm trying to look for things that disgust me. Nothing in the movie disgusted me, and I'm talking about A Clockwork Orange, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Everything seemed to fit so perfectly in that movie, and it made me think about things in rape, for instance, and how it can be a very personal or impersonal thing to do to somebody. And I'm not putting down any rape victims ever at all, but I was kind of thinking about how I was raped and how I lost my virginity that way, and it was my real first relationship, and it was coercion, yes. I kept saying no. I was saying no to the end of time, and he didn't listen, and grabbed my wrists and pulled me into the public bathroom at the place that we were at. And at that point, I gave in because I knew it was going to happen anyway. So it was still rape, and he was trying to tell me that he loved me this entire time, and he didn't, because we hadn't been together for very long at all. It was just a very twisted sort of thing, which I'm a twisted person, but it made me even more twisted because of the experience, because it made me have this really weird, messed up sense of what sex should be and what love should be. And my thoughts on sex have changed completely since I've been with somebody who actually cares and loves for me, and I'm definitely not as much of a maniac as I was before. Because it's just messed me up so bad, and I kept having sex with him, and I had sex with other people, and just let them do whatever they wanted to do. And it was just this very twisted view of what sex and love should be, and even, at the point when he was forced to break up with me, because his parents called me crazy, I knew that he didn't actually ever love me, because he didn't try to fight for me or anything like that. But I let people do whatever they wanted, and it was really messed up, and I wish that I wasn't so young when it happened. I wish it wasn't my first occurrence with sex. I wish it would have happened differently. I wish he just would have listened to my request, but all of that stuff is in the past. He's supposedly a different person now, and doesn't think he did anything wrong with it, and still thinks he's my friend, and tried to give me hugs and whatnot and touch me, and I was just I can't be fucked to deal with this drama, so I just stayed friendly, pretty much. But even before that, I shouldn't have ever dated him, but I was 15. Nobody had ever given me any kind of, positive vibes in that sort of area. Everyone had always rejected me. I was bullied. I hated myself. I thought I was ugly. And it was finally somebody telling me that I wasn't, and all this other stuff, so I kind of let it happen. And even before that, he would force my hand down his pants and force his hand down my pants in the middle of the fucking class, because we had class together, and it was a teacher that really didn't give a shit what we did and didn't care if we failed or not. So I should have said no to going out with him. I shouldn't have went to that place that I was at that day. None of that should have happened, and I kind of blame myself for it, but I also don't realize that it's something that happened, and it's never going to change that it happened. And then there was somebody else, about a year later, who had this obsession with me and was really lonely and manipulated people into being with him, and would touch me in class, because I had another person who sat beside me in class who forced his hand down my pants, and I hated it, and touched my butt, and did whatever the fuck he felt like doing. And I had a boyfriend at the time, a financially abusive boyfriend, but a different boyfriend at that time. And I just kind of let it happen, because I didn't want to make a scene to the teacher or anything else like that, so I could have made up so many different excuses to change seats, and I didn't, and it's my fault, and he used to threaten to kill himself if I didn't talk to him and all this other stuff, and it's just a whole bunch of malarkey. So if you know the person that you're being abused by in any way, it's way more personal than if it's just a random act of violence. And the effect it had on me was so extreme, and until I was truly loved and cared for, to the point that I am now with my current boyfriend. I never had any serious girlfriends. They were never out and out. So they were never very serious. They were always very hidden and whatnot. And none of them were particularly very good to me either. Feeling sex was this thing that you had to do to get somebody to love you, and it was very wrong and very messed up, and it's kind of like this ultimate punishment and threat to somebody to threaten to rape them in whatever way possible, if that makes any sense. Like murder, I used to look like as a gift, and sometimes I still look at it like a gift, because if there is no afterlife, then you don't exist afterwards, and there is no pain, there's no suffering, you don't exist. If there is an afterlife, you either go to heaven or hell. If you go to hell, it's your own damn fault. If you go to heaven, I'm not religious, so, whatever, but it's your own damn fault if you go to hell. If you go to heaven, you're always happy. So there's nothing really too bad about, murder is wrong, yes, but there's nothing, rape is way worse than murder. You get what I'm saying? It's like this ultimate form of punishment because you make somebody live with this pain and this agony that you've given them. But, murder and death isn't that bad when looked compared to what the effect of rape can have on somebody. And, it's ultimate threat, and I've threatened people with it all the time, and it's just you need to listen to me, you're pissing me off, please leave me alone, this is a very serious threat, I'm not actually going to do anything, because my bark is stronger, or more threatening to my bite, I can't remember what the term is, I'm still off on coffee. So the movie kind of made me think about that and how he was really doing it out of random acts of violence. He was also a teenager. It took me a little bit to realize that he was a teenager. Because he seemed much more intelligent than a teenager, if that makes any sort of sense. Much more philosophical than a normal teenager. I know that this is going to cut off in any second. I'm sorry if it does. I'm just trying to make a short, quick serious video on it and what it made me think about. So I want anybody to leave me a comment before it cuts off for me to say this, to leave a comment about it and your experience if you're willing to tell me with this and how it kind of makes you look at it. I don't know, and I find it very intriguing to know what rapists are thinking about and what goes on in their mind, because obviously the person that did it to me doesn't think that they did anything wrong, because eventually I gave in. And I've had people tell me that that's not rape, even though you were forced into a bathroom and whatnot, and it was going to happen anyway, that's not rape. Coercion is still rape. Peer pressure is still rape. If you still are not enjoying it, I went along with it, it messed me up so bad throughout a lot of my life. So what do people think about it? It just made me think, nothing in A Clockwork Orange made me disgusted as watching SVU did, and I don't know why. I kind of want to know why, but yeah, it made me think. The movie I look at is brilliant. I love Alex to death. I feel like I'd get along with him if I actually talked to him and he didn't do anything to me, without my permission, of course. But I don't know, I didn't feel sorry for anybody but him in that movie, and I can't figure out why with my own experiences, besides the fact that he looks like Evan Peters. I keep wanting to call him Peter instead of Evan. But yeah, so this was the more serious sort of tangent-y video on the subject, and it's not really anything negative about the movie, because the movie is brilliant and it's in my top 5 now. I don't know, it just made me think, and I thought about it for a really long time last night after the movie before I could possibly fall asleep, so just thoughts below if you can understand what I'm saying. I am very Aspergery, and it's sometimes hard for people to understand me. So yeah. There's a truck going by. There's a truck going by. My cousin was driving by. Ba-doo-doo-doo-doo. I've got something in my. I'm sitting in dirt. I'm very dirty now, and I cut myself in some way. I always hurt myself in some way. So yeah, with this little tangent about life and thinking about things, and I don't know, I feel like rape is way worse than murder, because I've always looked at murder, well, not murder, but death in sort of this romantic way, so, but there's nothing good that comes out of rape, besides the fact that I am the person I am now, and nothing's gonna change that, and maybe it's for the better, maybe it's not. Thanks. Leave. leave your thoughts. I don't know. This is very waffly and rambly.